back down boots. For a number of reasons, I did not have a really good chance to prepare for the service today. And the one that I wanted to do, I couldn't find a text for. So I am going to be going off of a text that I think is going to be relevant and meaningful. If not, let me know in the comments and we'll skip past it next time. What we're looking at is a passage from the Sutta Nipata, specifically on what happens when people go to war. Right? So this is not going to be my usual sermon. This is going to be more of a, let's explore this, right? It's not a long passage, so don't worry about it. And in fact, I'm not planning on doing a long sermon on it either. Let's get right into it. King Ajatasattu of Magadha mobilized a 4-division army and marched in the direction of Kasi against King Pasenadi of Kosala. Now, you have to realize that Ajatasattu is one of the boogeymen in most Buddhist texts, right? He's the terrible ruler who does terrible things. Like, he killed his father, who turns out was Pasenadi's brother. So he's fighting right now against his uncle. You kill your father, you levy an army against your uncle. That kind of says a lot about you, right? So, anyway. King Pasenadi heard this report, mobilized a 4-division army of his own, and launched a countermarch in the direction of Kasi against King Ajatasattu. When King Ajatasattu and King Pasenadi fought a battle, in which King Ajatasattu defeated King Pasenadi. King Pasenadi retreated to his own capital of Savatthi. Then in the morning, a number of monks dressed and taking their bowls and robes entered Savatthi for alms. When they had walked for alms in Savatthi and had returned from their alms round after the meal, they approached the Blessed One, the Buddha, and reported what had happened. The Buddha said, "Monks, King Ajatasattu of Magadha has evil friends. King Pasenadi of Kosala has good friends. Yet for this day, King Pasenadi, having been defeated, will sleep badly tonight. Victory breeds enmity. The defeated one sleeps badly. The peaceful one sleeps at ease, having abandoned victory and defeat." On a later occasion, when Pasenadi defeated Ajatasattu, because they went back and forth in this, right? So eventually they got to the point where Ajatasattu was completely defeated, and Pasenadi, instead of taking Ajatasattu's life, which he totally could have, simply disarmed him, took away all his weapons, all his armies, and said, "You're not fighting nobody else again." So, spoiler alert, that's what we're talking about here. So, on a later occasion when Pasenadi defeated Ajatasattu, the Blessed One said, "The fool thinks fortune is on his side, so long as his evil does not ripen. But when the evil ripens, the fool incurs suffering. The killer begets a killer, one who conquers a conqueror, the abuser gets abuse, the reviler gets one who reviles. Thus, by the unfolding of karma, the plunderer is plundered." Speaking specifically about Ajatasattu in this point, in this matter. Right? So, what we can take from this is, as long as one's deeds that lead one to war, right? As long as, particularly an unrighteous war, a war of aggression, as long as one's deeds haven't yet ripened, oh yeah, they think they're doing great, right? They're like, "Oh yeah, we totally won, we got this, right? Victory for us, hooray!" And then karma happens, the karmic seeds ripen, and they bear fruit. And yeah, that victory suddenly turns into, wait a minute, what the hell did we just do? So the whole point here being, you have to be mindful in what you do, right? You can't just take the short term, "Hey, yeah, we won, yeah, awesome us," approach. You have to take the long-term approach of saying, "We fought, we did dumb stuff, the consequences are going to come to us. Maybe later, maybe sooner, who knows? But we're going to get some consequences for our actions, right? And it's the same with every action. It can be good actions, it can be bad actions, it can be any action. As long as it hasn't ripened, you don't see the results. And you're like, okay, well, no results, cool, awesome. And then you see the results, and you have to ask yourself, was it worth it? Was it worth it? Right? Now, obviously, we in the military have situations and times where this is kind of the case, where we are ordered to go off and do dumb stuff, right? And we're going to take the consequences for that. The karma is going to ripen. We are going to see those results eventually. Somewhere down the line, we will see those results. And when we do, well, best be ready. You best be ready for the consequences of your actions, right? And you had better hope that when you went into this conflict, when you were ordered to do so, obviously not all of the karma is yours, right? You were ordered to do so, you did so. You take some of the consequence for that. Those who ordered you to do so, they take a lot of the consequence for that, right? So what we need to do as dumb boots is to ensure that our leaders, as high up as we can, we need to make sure that our leaders know what they're doing. They know that you don't go out and do dumb stuff, right? You don't go out and be the Ajatasattu, right? You don't go out and start a war of aggression. You don't go out and fight just to fight. If you have to fight, like King Pasenadi, to protect those who are going to be slaughtered, because Ajatasattu had a habit of doing that, right? We see this time and time again throughout his adventures, as the Buddha talks about them, and as we see them throughout the Dharma, right? Pasenadi is saying, okay, we got to stop this guy, right? He doesn't want to go to war. He's not the one who started this. He's not the one who raised the army first and started marching, right? All he did was lead well. He led his people, and they were virtuous, and they prospered. It was a good time. King Pasenadi was a good king to live under. That much comes out again and again and again and again, right? Because the King Pasenadi is always going to the Buddha for advice. We saw this with like Angulimala when, it's kind of a similar story where Angulimala did a lot of terrible things, and Pasenadi didn't want to, raise up an army to go fight this guy, to go and try and catch Angulimala. But at some point he had to, because Angulimala was just killing left and right? So when he found that Angulimala had changed, he was like, okay, no more, we're not fighting, right? Here, Ajatasattu hadn't changed. He didn't listen to the Buddha. And because he didn't listen to the Buddha, because he didn't listen to the Dharma, because he didn't do what was right, because he didn't reflect on his actions, when Pasenadi goes back and they fight again, Pasenadi defeats him. Takes him down, takes all his weapons away, takes all his all of his elephants, all of his soldiers, and says, nope, they're ours now, and you're not fighting nobody. Right? He put an end to the fight. He didn't stop it. He put an end to it. There's a difference. Right? He didn't start it. He put an end to it. He didn't stop it. He put an end to it. When forced to do so, he fought back and put an end to it. When forced to do so, he did the right thing and protected people. In that situation, in that kind of case, the one who did the right thing is the one who said, no, we're not going to fight unless we have to, and if we do have to, we're going to make it so that the enemy can't keep fighting. We're going to make it so that the enemy has to stop, that we put an end to it, right? They go about conflict and combat mindfully. And we have to do the same. As Dhamma Buddhas, we have to do that same thing ourselves, and we have to, our job, our role as Buddhists in the military is to convey that sense of there's a right and a wrong way to go about conflict. There's a right and a wrong way to go about combat. There's a right and a wrong way to go about engaging in warfare. We don't do things the wrong way. And we don't encourage others to do so either, right? It has to be on us to admonish those who are doing these terrible things and say, no, you don't do that. That's wrong. It's up to us to do that, because look at the leadership we have. Are they going to do so? Maybe. There's a chance. There's a chance that if you really strongly make your case, they won't do the wrong thing. But if you don't make that case, they're totally going to do the wrong thing. Because it's easier, it's faster, it's sexier, it looks cooler, right? It drives that sense of, yeah, let's do this thing. It drives that grasping, that greed, that desire. It drives that, right? It feeds into that. We have to be the ones to tell leaders, no, that's wrong, don't do it. Because nobody else will, right? So it's on us, as Dhamma Buddhists, as Buddhists in the military, present, past, maybe future, whatever. It is on us to really get that point across, to really stand up for what is right. Because if we don't, who will? I'm going to leave it there, Dhamma Buddhists.